Hello, everyone. I see people starting to join, so we'll wait for maybe 30 seconds, 1 minute, just to make sure that everyone is on board, and then we'll kick off. Feel free to grab a coffee, tea, or bottle of water, something like that. Yes, I'll have my own as well.
Well, that was a beer for a minute then, just a water, is it?
Yeah, just to grab a water. Or if you've already prepared some cup of tea.
Yeah.
All right, we see more and more people are joining, so I think we can kickstart from here. It's actually been already recorded, so in case you will need to leave earlier, or in case you would like to share this recording later on with some of your colleagues, it will be possible. You will receive the link to the recording. So first of all, thank you very much for joining today's webinar, Double Your Efficiency with Dext and ApprovalMax. Before we'll jump into our presentations, to our demos, let us first introduce ourselves. So let me start with myself. My name is Alex Kesselman. I'm a solution engineer here at ApprovalMax, and today I have a special guest. So Freddie, over to you if you could introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. So yeah, nice to meet everyone. Thanks for joining today. My name is Freddie, and I work as a senior practice solutions expert at Dext. So yeah, I've been at Dext for about 2 years now. Before that, I worked in practice, so in an accountancy practice, and over the last couple of years, I've been helping enable these Dext products across the team internally here, but also for our partners and prospects. So yeah, really excited to with this session today. I've got quite a few Dext partners that use this workflow really successfully. So really excited for you guys to see it in action today.
Yeah, great having you here today. So what's on our agenda? We'll start with short polls, just first of all, to get to know a bit more about you guys, those who are attending today's webinar. Then we'll talk about Dext Prepare, the way it works, moving to ApprovalMax and the way this integration between two systems works. And at the very end, we'll have a Q&A section. Though I would highly encourage you to ask any questions along the way in the chat section of Zoom or in the Q&A section of Zoom, just so we won't miss any of your questions, so we could actually go through some of these additional topics, or maybe give you some additional information about the products. So let's start with the polls. Freddie, over to you.
Yeah, so just before we kick off, it'd be great. You should now see some options on your screen. It'd be great just to initially understand what apps you guys are using internally. So yeah, if you wouldn't mind just popping that down now, it's just going to help us understand exactly who to aim this session at. So that'd be great if you could do that. I could see some answers
starting to. Well, thank you very much. You're such an engaging audience.
Yeah, it's a good start.
So mainly, we'll give it about an additional 30 seconds just to make sure that everyone who wanted to participate actually participated. And I will, of course, share the results later. All right, awesome.
Yeah. Nearly everyone, I think.
I think we can actually end the poll, this first one, and share the results with you. So as you can see, majority of you are using Xero, some using QuickBooks Online, and it's great to see that half of audience using Dext and the other half, or maybe it's the same audience, using ApprovalMax already. Well, hopefully you will learn something new from both of these applications, both of these tools. All right, so let's move to the next poll. This one will be from my side. We just want to identify some of the problems, I would say, challenges that you might be facing with your approval process at the moment, just to understand where to move our presentation today. So if you could do one more thing for us, that would be awesome.
I always feel like we need some music in the background now.
Yeah, we need some background music.
Maybe you can sing for us, Alex.
Like an elevator music.
Yeah.
All right, I see first answers are falling. That's perfect.
Awesome.
I love this second poll because I see how answers are being distributed each time we're doing this poll. And it seems like majority of these challenges are pretty much the same for different businesses out there.
Yeah.
So let's give another maybe 20 seconds. Feel free to make your last votes before we'll share the results. Okay. Any last votes? All right, so I will end the poll and share the results with you. So as you can see, majority of attendees today having the main challenges that you're spending too much time on admin and chasing approvers. That's one thing I always find from the customers who's approaching us, that there is no real need for you to be a nanny for your customers or for your staff, that there is better way to do that. All right, thank you very much. So now we can move on to the actual presentations, and I want to give a mic over to Freddie. So Freddie, over to you.
Thanks very much, Alex. So just to give you a bit of an intro into Dext, I know I can see from the poll that quite a few are already using it, but just to give you a bit of an understanding of where we fit in. So we're actually a multi-product suite now. We're going to be talking about Dext Prepare today, but we have got 3 products in the suite. So I'll just briefly touch on all of them just now. Initially, we have Dext Prepare, which sits at the start of the process. So focusing on the data capture for the cost side. So any receipts or invoices that are being collected from clients, Dext Prepare automates the capture of that and pushing that into either Xero, QuickBooks, or another accounting ledger. We then have Dext Commerce, which is focusing on the digital commerce side of things. So it's data capture, but for the sales side. So if you have any clients that are using or selling on Shopify, they're selling on Amazon, eBay, Dext Commerce collects that information, standardizes it, automates it, and pushes it into Xero QuickBooks. And then we have Dext Precision, which sits on the other side of the process. So once the data is in Xero or QuickBooks, Dext Precision then looks at, what is the quality of data we have in this ledger now. So we give a health score based on the quality, and you can do some really creative things with that data. But yeah, initially we're going to be talking about Dext Prepare today. So do you want to move on to the next slide, Alex? Perfect, thank you. So why do firms choose Dext Prepare? So we've been going for a little while now. 2010 we were founded. We were called Receipt Farm at the time. We've done a couple of rebrands since then. We're now called Dext Prepare. So yeah, over that time we've built up quite a good following. We've got 1.2 million users now. So yeah, really good following. We're quite a trusted brand in this area, I would say. Paperwork can be submitted 9 different ways, and it takes just 30 seconds to extract data at industry-leading accuracy of 99% or more. So again, I mentioned there about how Dext Prepare focuses on the capture of the cost side. You can do that in 9 different ways. So no matter how the client wants to get the information to you, we can cover all those different methods. And the extraction speed and accuracy is market leading with Dext Prepare. So, it's really important to get the data in as efficiently and accurately as possible. Dext Prepare is really good at that. We also have really good support here. So we're really proud of the support we give our partners. You get a dedicated account manager to help you or to look after you during your time with Dext, but also at the start of the engagement, helping you understand the product, helping your staff understand the product, helping your clients understand the product. We have different training that we put on for you. So again, we make sure that you're using the product properly. We don't just sort of give it to you and say, good luck. We make sure that you're using it properly. In the last 5 years, we've grown our R&D team from 30 to 200 plus people, releasing over 300 new features. So again, something that we're also really proud of is that we're continuously building on the product. So it's not the same product as it was in 2010. We've continuously listened to what the market wanted and tweaked it, releasing quite big features recently. We've just released a new practice insights dashboard, which gives you metrics into the different areas. So again, we're continuously building on that. And yeah, luckily you don't have to just rely on what I say. We've got some really good reviews online as well. So you can see here across most of the major review sites, we have really good ratings, and we have quite a few ratings as well. So I believe on Trustpilot, we've just hit 1,000 reviews. So again, quite a few accountants and bookkeepers relying on us and hopefully liking what we do. So yeah, that's why people choose Dext Prepare. How do people use it, or how do practices use it? Here are 3 sort of main use cases. Practices use Dext Prepare for a centralized data capture and processing tool. So I mentioned before how collecting that data is really important. Dext Prepare, doesn't matter what type of client you have. Maybe it's a year-end client, it's a VAT client, that you do the bookkeeping for them. Dext Prepare collects all of that cost data into one centralized area, ready for you to then push it into your accounting ledger or ApprovalMax in this instance. Also practice-wide efficiency. So with Dext Prepare, something that kind of sets us apart to others in the market is that we have various practice level dashboards. So not just do we sort of automate the capture, but we also give you metrics. So you can see a full list of your clients to see how well they're submitting items to you. You can also use Dext to retrieve missing information from clients. So when I was in practice, one of the key pain points was, pulling information from clients and doing that efficiently. So Dext Prepare gives you visibility into being able to pull that information from them. And then finally, we have automation tools. So once you have the information in automatically, 30 seconds or less, it's accurate from the accuracy that we have. You can then start to set up rules on the transactions. So instead of you coming onto Dext Prepare and selecting the categories manually, you can set up rules to automate that process into ApprovalMax or straight into Xero, depending on your setup. And we'll go into a bit more detail in our demo later on with Alex. But yeah, they're the three sort of main use cases of Dext Prepare.
Yep, thank you very much. Great stuff. I have to admit, since I'm quite a lazy person, I really trying to automate as much as possible. I'm using Dext, our demo account, for my own internal expenses. So I'm just sending all of those invoices and receipts that I'm having like during my business trips, and it works just like magic. I've made some of those automation rules for suppliers, and it's just automatically add all the necessary information and then push it forward to ApprovalMax. And I really enjoy using that on my day-to-day work as well. So now moving to the next part, talking about the ApprovalMax. Let me give you a bit of understanding where we came from and what do we do. So in 2016, ApprovalMax was founded, and since that time, we became quite a big part of both Xero and QuickBooks Online ecosystems. If you'll take a look on the marketplace, for example, on Xero Marketplace, you'll find more than 240 plus 5-star rating reviews from the customers who is using ApprovalMax on their day-to-day basis. And that's some great testimonials that you can find over there. At the same time, in 2020, we became the Xero App Partner of the Year, starting from New Zealand market. Then next year, we became once again Xero App Partner of the Year, but this time in UK market. And in 2022, this year, we became finalists for the same award. And we're very proud of these awards. However, what do we do? Well, when it comes for approvals, once you've digitized your invoice using Dext or tools like that, you need to approve those bills somehow. And in most cases, what we see, a lot of companies out there, they're using very redundant, outdated systems like paper-based approval system, where they would literally print out the document, go through the office, trying to find a manager who will approve it with a physical stamp on it. They will send it via postal mail. It takes forever to approve a single document. It takes some additional outright costs for printing, storaging, archiving, and things like that. And of course, during pandemic, it simply became impossible to do the paper-based approval system. Everyone was sitting at home, so you cannot really print out the document and go to your manager. Therefore, a lot of companies switch to the email-based approval systems, which are not perfect at all as well. You cannot really scale it up to your organization. If you have one person approving everything, then it might work. But if you have 5 and more people in the team who is approving different documents, it becomes really a game of cat and mouse, where you need to send all of those multiple notifications to your approvers. You need to keep track on whatever something being approved versus not approved. And you become really a nanny for your staff, a nanny for your customers. And rather than you'll be doing that manually, rather than you'll be doing this meaningless work, it is just easier to create a workflow, a sequence of approval steps where each and every person will know exactly what they need to approve, and they will receive their notifications, push notification, email notification on the time that their decision is required. So for approvers, the whole process becomes very straightforward and very seamless because they can do their approvals on the go. They can download our mobile app, for instance, and they can see all the line items, attachments, budgets, and they can do the bill to PO matching, things like that. So all of that is available on the go. At the same time, if they want to do their approvals via email notifications, it is possible. We will send you an email notification that will include all the necessary information. And again, if you have access to your laptop, you can always log into your account and see within just one screen what is pending your approval. From the accountant standpoint, from the bookkeeper standpoint, it will provide you some additional information. First of all, talking about the audit reports. That is the PDF document that will show you by whom exactly and when exactly that particular request, that particular document was approved. And from the security standpoint, we can shield some of this sensitive information from unauthorized user access. So pretty much there is no need for your users, for your approvers who is not in the accountancy practice to see the data that you have in your accounting software. So ApprovalMax will allow you to give access just to ApprovalMax, to give them certain permissions on what things they allow to approve without giving any access to your accounting software. Talking about some of the key features and key capabilities, as I mentioned already, the core idea behind ApprovalMax would be workflows, multi-step and multi-level approval workflows for different financial documents. It might be that you're working on accounts payable side, might be that you're working on accounts receivable side. We can cover all of those things. So we have a separate workflow for purchase orders, bills, credit notes, sales invoices. But it's actually not only about the workflows. There is much, much more behind that to make your spend control even more robust. Things like bill to purchase order matching, let's say, or budget checking, which will allow your approvers in real time compare budgets that you have in your Xero account against the bills and purchase orders that you're approving in ApprovalMax. Things like customizable reports, so you can build up reports based on the criteria like all the bills that are pending approval, and we want to see who are we waiting for, bills that were already approved, and we want to see how long the decision took, and bills that were already paid, and we want to see what was the payment date. Things like fraud detection and analysis tool, which will allow you to keep track on some additional things like if someone is trying to bypass the workflow or if someone is trying to change things after the final approval. And of course, all of that squeezed in one very simple app, both for iOS and Android. So you'll be able to raise your POs and bills, you'll be able to approve them, you'll be able to do the bill to PO matching, compare budgets, make comments, and all of that is included in the mobile app. If we'll take a look on the diagram here on the right, we'll see an oversimplified form where ApprovalMax fits into the app stack. So on top of things, we have our data capture tools like Dext Prepare. So it will help you to digitize your invoice from the paper format or and you just received it from your supplier into electronic form. Once you have all of these data, you can simply publish that and it goes straight away into your ApprovalMax account, where all of your approvers, whenever they're required, they will receive their push notification or they will receive an email notification. Once we'll receive all of the decisions from everyone who should be involved in the approval process, only then this request will go into our accounting software, Xero or QuickBooks Online. So that's the way it works. Now let's take a look on the high-level overview of the way integration works. I want to give mic over to Freddie.
Sure. So yeah, in terms of the Dext Prepare part of this process, Dext Prepare will take from the client the initial invoice. So from the first part of the process, we're collecting data. So whether that's a picture on an app, so they have an invoice, they've taken a picture on the app, maybe they've received an invoice via email, maybe you have the invoice on your computer, Mac, and you want to push that into Dext Prepare. All of these different ways are possible. You then push this information into Dext Prepare, where we then extract the information. We then set the rules on the information as well. Maybe you want to set particular tracking categories, you want to set particular tax rates, supplier rules. We then integrate via API into ApprovalMax. We're then going to publish that item from Dext Prepare into ApprovalMax, either manually or via the automation that you have set up. And then, yeah, once the invoice is in ApprovalMax, I'll pass the mic back to Alex for that part.
Yeah, and once it is done, instantly, all of our approvers will receive their notifications. They can do their approvals on the go via mobile app, email, or web app. Once we'll gather all of these requests from everyone from the sequence of our approval steps, it's automatically pushed through to our accounting software, Xero or QuickBooks Online. So that's the general level, the way it works. And now we can actually move to the main part of today's presentation, which will be our live demos. So let me stop sharing the screen and I will pass over screens over to Freddie so he can start with text presentation.
Great, thanks very much. So again, moving back to the previous slide there, this is going to be the start of the process for this full workflow. So I'm going to take you through initially how it works on Dext Prepare, and then Alex is going to share his screen and take you through how it then works with ApprovalMax. So in terms of getting the information into Dext Prepare, we have quite a few different ways of doing that. What you're looking at now is your full list of clients. If you're an accountancy practice, bookkeeping firm, you'll have all of your clients listed. And then underneath those clients, and if we click into a particular client now to show you how this process works, we'll use this one as an example. Freddie's Fish Accessories, not my real business, just a and we have an invoice already in here, and we managed to push that into Dext via one of these methods here. So you can add documents at the top. So on this add documents, you can see multiple ways of getting information into Dext Prepare. So we have pushing PDFs into Dext Prepare. So you've got a PDF in your PC, you can drag and drop it, you can select files here. You can connect to a supplier. So if you have any online suppliers, for example, BT, O2, Bookers, you can connect directly to Dext Prepare and they'll automatically fetch invoices on a monthly basis or whenever you have invoices from that supplier. So really hands off it in that instance. You also have the email in. So this is, you've got an invoice on an email. You can forward that email to a Dext Prepare email address. So for this example, we have, this is the email address. So you can copy that, forward it to that email, and it's going to put that attachment into Dext Prepare. Then we have the mobile app. So this is, you've got a client, they're on the road, they've got an invoice, they can just snap a picture of the invoice. It's going to go straight into Dext Prepare. So what does it look like once it's in? You'll have a list here. And if actually, I'm going to add an invoice just to show you the speed of how we extract it. So I've just selected an invoice from my files, and you can see that's gone into processing here, queued for extraction. And then we can have a full list of our extracted items here. So we've got our costs, and this is an invoice that I put in earlier. If we click into that, we can now see the information from the invoice. So we can see that this has come, this is an ApprovalMax invoice, and all of this information here, I haven't had to put any of that in. It's been automatically extracted. So we've looked at the supplier name, we've looked at the due date, the currency, the total amount, tax amount. So this has all been automatically extracted through the OCR capabilities. And then it's a case of then pushing that into ApprovalMax. How Dext Prepare works with ApprovalMax, you can integrate. For those of you already using Dext, you've maybe are used to just pushing it straight into Xero. With ApprovalMax, you'll integrate into our ApprovalMax for Xero integration, which I'll show you in a minute. But ultimately what we're doing here is selecting the right criteria, potentially setting up some automation as well. So if we go into this supplier rules area, this then allows you to set a rule to say, actually, every time we see an item from ApprovalMax, we want to automatically categorize it to subscriptions. Maybe you want to also automatically categorize it to a tracking category. You can do that as well. And we pull all this information directly from Xero. Once you apply those rules, Dext Prepare will automatically pull the information in as the invoice hits. So again, you're completely hands off. You don't have to put this in automatically or manually. Does it automatically. And then it's a case of publishing that into ApprovalMax there. In terms of the actual integration, really simple. For each client that you have that you're wanting to set up ApprovalMax for, you can come to the integration section, and then as one of the options, you have ApprovalMax for Xero and ApprovalMax for QBO at the bottom here. Once you've done that, we're going to then automatically send these items into ApprovalMax to start that approval process that Alex is going to brilliantly take you through now. So I'll stop sharing my screen here. And Alex, I don't know if you want to pick up the mic for this next part.
Sure, of course. Thank you very much. Let me see, where's my mic? Now, once we'll publish that from Xero side, first of all, what will happen if we've enabled those instant notifications? That's configurable, and I will show you that in a minute, the way you can do that. But if we have our instant notifications, once we'll publish something from Dext, instantly, within just maybe 2-3 seconds, we'll receive an email notification from ApprovalMax side, which will include all the necessary information, starting from the link to the actual bill, which system being used to publish that bill, total amounts, line items. If there's any attachments, you'll be able to click on the attachment and see the original invoice. And straight from your email notification, you'll be able to click on approve or reject. So you don't even need to go anywhere. You can just stay with your email notification. In addition to that, if you're using mobile app, you'll straight away receive a push notification, so you can do it from there. But if we'll now log into our account, into our web application, the first screen that we will see here, it calls requires my decision. That is actually quite an important screen. Imagine if you're an accountancy practice, you're working with many customers and you're approving on behalf of all of them. You can, of course, go into your main menu, select which organization you want to work with at the moment. But in order for us to save time, requires my decision will show you all of the requests that pending your approval, not someone else's, not all of these requests, but only that awaiting your approval. As you can see here, I have this bill from ApprovalMax Germany GmbH, which was sent via Dext for Everything is Limited Company. I have another bill from Microsoft for Kafkaesque accounting. I have bill from ACASML for ApprovalMax test org. So all of these requests that awaiting my approval just within one place. On the right side of the screen, I will see the actual request. It will include all the necessary information starting from the bill name, total amounts, any line items, if there is any attachment, and since we're using Dext and there will be an attachment, your approvers will be able to see those attachments either in full screen or in side-by-side mode. Again, if you're using Xero Budget Manager to keep your budgets, your approvers will be able to keep track on what is their expenditure, month by month or overall expenditure. And even better, since we have our budgets that you can create based on the nominal code and based on the tracking category, in ApprovalMax, it will only show you budget that is compatible with what we are actually approving. So this bill from ApprovalMax is for product department, for account code general expenses. Therefore, we will only see budget for that particular department, for that particular nominal code. We can see what is the remaining budget here, what is the impact of the bill that we're approving right now, and what is the status. So this one is okay, so we can go ahead and approve it. If we want to dig into the numbers, we can always click on the budget itself, and it will show us what is the overall budget for the full period of time, what is the remaining budget, how many bills and purchase orders we've already approved, and how many of them are in approval. Same goes for month-by-month expenditure. If we want to see if we've overspent somewhere, if we've underspent somewhere, all of that will be available for you in real time in your ApprovalMax account. Again, if you want to have even more robust spend control, if you want to make an end-to-end spend control, you'll be able to, first of all, raise your purchase orders either in Xero or maybe within ApprovalMax. That's something for you to decide. Once you'll approve this purchase order and once you'll receive supplier invoice, you'll be able to do the bill to PO matching. And it works just like magic, and there is no need for you to match one-to-one. You can match many-to-many. So let's say I have this bill from ApprovalMax Germany GmbH. If I click on match with PO, it will show me a list of all the purchase order for that particular supplier. So let's select this one and insert amount that we have on the purchase order. If we receive an additional bill later on, we'll be able to match this bill again to this original purchase order with no problem. Click on save. Now we have matching done. If we'll expand the list, we'll be able to see who made the matching, what amount was allocated, and what is the total amount. If we'll scroll all the way down here, we will find our approval workflow. So we can keep track on where it's been to before, where it will go to next, who would be our approvers on each and every step. And if we want to make comments for the future approvers, if we want to collaborate with the team of our approvers, we'll be able to use the commenting tool here on the bottom. Let's say I'll approve it. And these comments and all other changes that you're making to this request will be stored here forever under audit trail, so you can always keep track on what happened to each and every request of yours. And once everything is ready, we can simply click on approve, and request will go automatically into our Xero account alongside with the audit report. However, how would we actually build our workflows? What are the workflows in the first place? So for that, we'll go into our main menu and we'll scroll all the way down here to approval workflows. And here we will find approval workflow for different your financial documents. So the thing is, the context here, that if you have an idea of the way your organization works, your organizational structure, organizational chart, you'll be able to replicate that into your workflow. So let's say we'll take a look on my bill creation, review, and approval workflow. And what we'll see here, I have 3 approval steps: managers, legal department, and the C-level approval. If I want to add some additional approval steps, I can easily click on the plus sign. I can drag it whenever I need to. I can give it a name, let's say senior management. Add as many users as I want to. There is no limitation on the amount of users. We do not charge you by the amount of users. And the next part would be to go into our approval matrix and define rules for each of our approvers. So all of these values here are taken from your Xero account. And then you can define what each and every person can or cannot do. Let's say Peter will be approving everything that is over or equal to £1,000 from the department CSM, while Tim will be approving everything between 1,000 to 5,000 for department does not match CSM, so all other departments. And just like that, we can create as many approval steps and as many rules as needed. Once done, update the workflow or activate the workflow, and we are set to go. We can send invitations, and now everything will be working just as magic. All right, so let's move on to our presentation. So the next thing, what we should do with the time that we've saved with all of those tools. And actually, ApprovalMax, we made a little research. We've been asking our customers who were approaching us how much time they're spent on average on approving a single document before they implemented ApprovalMax and Dext and after that. And we see that those who's using manual approval systems like paper-based approval systems, they have some extreme numbers, like 14 days, 2 weeks to approve a single document. Imagine if you go to the grocery store and you want to buy bread and milk and you stood in line for 2 weeks just to get those. So that is actually what's happening with these guys who's using manual approval systems. Those who have started adding some additional tools and starting to automate, they can reduce their time up to 4 days. But the best in class, those who've actually created a very robust system starting from the digitization of an invoice and then going through the approval process and then to the payments, they could reduce their time up to 4 hours per single invoice. And it's not only the time, it's actually money, because all of these approvals include outright costs such as manual labor, time that you've spent on reviewing, coding, and things like that. And rather than you'll be doing that, you could spend this time on some meaningful work.
Yeah, completely right. And it's not just the time saving as well. Like we've heard, I'm not sure if it's the same with you, Alex, where you are, but a lot of the accountancy firms and businesses I'm speaking to at the minute are having a real issue with recruitment and keeping staff happy, and having digital systems in place can really help a staff members enjoyment of the job they're actually doing. So no one really wants to be pushing invoices around and waiting for people to approve. So actually having things in place can actually help keep staff happy, because they want to be working with the best technology, right? They want to be spending the time on the things that are actually valuable. So there's that element to it as well, for sure. But yeah, in terms of those time savings that you do get, these are the few of the things we think that maybe you can start to work on. So working more with your clients, so instead of having to manually do all of this compliance work, cut that down by days in some instances. It allows you to then work with your clients on those higher value conversations. So talk to them about their figures, not talk to them about getting the information in and approving it, but actually what do these figures mean once they're in Xero? How do we run reports and start to talk about progressing their business a bit further? Making right business decisions is another key one. So without collecting that data in a timely manner and getting the data in efficiently and actually getting it through that approval process efficiently, you're then unable to rely on the figures within Xero, because you've got invoices sitting around the office or in someone's van on the front windscreen, waiting to be put into a system. That's no good there. You can't rely on the figures. That's not the real business position of that business, is it? So again, getting these systems set up so you can have real-time data is obviously really important to make those right business decisions. And yeah, like I said before, focusing on higher value services. So maybe this is one of your goals, that you don't just want to be doing the compliance bit and having the conversation at the end of the year, but maybe you want to be having more regular conversations with your clients throughout the year. Maybe you can charge a little bit more for that as well, putting your fees up a little bit, earning a little bit more money for your business. So again, saving time so you can focus on these different areas. Or maybe you just want to cut down the time so you can go to the beach and cut down on your hours. Me and Alex are actually currently working from the beach. These are just green screens that we
No, that is true. I have a seat right over there.
Yeah. We would, but yeah, again, if that's something that you want to do, maybe you don't want to grow the business, you just want to maybe take a step back. These are all things that can be achieved if you look at the increasing automation across those processes.
Yeah, one example on this one, just about a year ago when we all had this pandemic, one of our partners, he got sick, so he had been quarantining at home, and he had a pool in his backyard. So what he was doing, he was laying in his pool, taking an app, see what he needs to approve, and just clicking approve, 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 approve. It was as easy as that. So he could still enjoying his time during being sick, but at the same time doing meaningful work.
Yeah, for sure.
So I will run additional poll for you right now just to know a bit about your preferences if you'd like to have some follow-ups. So if you could answer this poll for me, that would be awesome.
We can see some questions have just come in as well. So again,
yeah, I see that there is a lot of questions. So we will cover those questions in a minute.
We will, for sure.
Wow, I like the answers. Okay, a few more and we will end the poll.
Some good engagement today. Thanks everyone for.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really love it when you have a lot of questions and really engaged audience. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Sometimes it's, especially in the mornings when I'm doing my weekly webinars, I'm starting like, hey guys, I've started 2 minutes earlier. So let me know where you're from. What time is it for you? And there's like complete silence. And you're, okay, I'm just talking to myself. I'm talking to my camera.
Yeah. It's harder over Zoom, isn't it? But it's great.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, I think we can end the poll. I see that most the people actually answered. Well, I'm not sure if there is a need for sharing these results. It's more for internal use, but we can move to the next one, which would be our questions and answers. Let me stop sharing the screen and we could go over questions that we have.
So I have read through them, so I can answer one while you're reading through your ones there,
yeah.
Alex, if you want. So I have a couple of Dext ones here, Dext related ones. So Joan has asked, can you scan multiple invoices from a copier scanner at one time using Dext, or does it work one invoice, one scan? So yes, we have two different options on Dext. You can either scan as a single PDF, or if you select multiple on the option in Dext Prepare, you can select, so you can have like a full bunch of PDF documents, and we'll only register each page as one item. So yeah, you can scan multiple in.
Awesome. I see one question for us. Robert is asking, we have already had a trial of ApprovalMax and my financial controller struggled with implementing the system. Is it possible to reset our trial? And is any help with the implementation available? So that is the very great question. Of course, we can find a way how to extend your trial. So we have an option to extend your trial. Moreover, we have enough resources here in ApprovalMax that will help you in building those workflows. We have a special setup and training package, which you can, sorry, my dog started to snore. That we have a setup and training package that will allow you to build these workflows in the most efficient way. And in any case, we can always jump in on one-on-one call to help you reviewing session and just see that everything's set up correctly and your onboarding is as smooth as possible. So feel free to reach out to us, send a message to sales@approvalmax.com, and we'll find a way how we can help you.
Your dog's obviously quite bored by your answer, Alex.
Yeah. Okay.
Quite a few of these for you. Sorry, Alex, you might have to take a few. Actually, we've got one about, I think we had a few sort of direct businesses here, not just accountants and bookkeepers, and asking about, so Dext definitely works for direct, and same with ApprovalMax is, yeah, if you're just a usual business, you can definitely use both of these. We've got the pricing on the website, so we'll put the link up just after we've done the questions of the links for both our websites, and all the pricing is on the website there, and you can flick between, are you an accounting firm or are you a small to medium business on the pricing page. So we'll definitely put that up in a minute for you.
Okay. All right, so I see one question from Katerina. How do you use ApprovalMax in case you wish to have approval before purchase? The demo was focused on the process approval after purchase. Well, actually, you can raise the purchase order. So that's one step before you're actually purchasing something. You're making a will to purchase. Therefore, you're making this purchase order. And ApprovalMax works perfectly with these purchase orders. You can raise them all in ApprovalMax itself. You can give access to your users to use certain values to raise the purchase orders. And only once you'll approve that, you can tick the box to email that to your supplier automatically, or just send it through to your accounting software and then send it to your supplier. So that works pretty much exactly the same way, just two different workflows.
Looks like we've got a joint one here, Alex. We've got a from Becky Pollard. We've got a how do employee reimbursable expenses work with Dext and ApprovalMax? So yeah, you can use Dext does have an expense report feature, so you can get your staff to upload expenses to Dext. We then put it into an expense report. You can then push that into ApprovalMax, and ApprovalMax will register it as a bill, and it can then go through an approval process from ApprovalMax, or you can just push it straight into Xero. So there's a couple of options there.
Correct.
Yeah, so you can push it into.
I see one question from Sherry. Are we notified if an invoice is rejected in ApprovalMax, and can notes be added to say it has been rejected? Thank you for this question. Yes, you can, and you will have notification. So once a person will decide to reject the bill, we will show him a window to provide a reason why he wants to reject that. And this email notification will be sent to all of our administrators unless they've specifically turned off these notifications. But I would recommend not to do that in case something happened. So you'll find notifications, you will find the reason why it's been rejected, and you can build up reports out of this. I see question from Kieran. Can you create an approved quotes in ApprovalMax when push the approved quote to Xero? That is the great question. Unfortunately, not at the moment. So we do have plans for some time in the future to have maybe a purchase requisition workflow. But at the moment, we can work on the purchase order side, on the bill side, on the credit note, sales invoice side. I see that we're actually running out of time already. Do we want to answer a few more questions before? Well, we for sure answer all of those questions that we couldn't answer right now later on with the follow-ups. So please forgive us that we cannot answer all of them. We have a lot of questions, and thank you very much for all of these questions.
Yeah, we'll definitely follow up. We'll take these offline, but yeah, I can see they've got quite a few more here, which is great. Thanks for your questions, but we might not be able to get through them all.
I see another one joined question for both of us.
Yeah.
We are a business rather than an accounting practice. We have 2 companies on QuickBooks Online. Do we need 1 or 2 Dext and ApprovalMax subscriptions? Well, I believe it's the same for Dext and for ApprovalMax. You will need 2 subscriptions for 2 of your entities. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So it works on like the accounting ledger. If you've got 2,
it's one-to-one connection. So we have a two-way integration between all 3 systems, Dext, ApprovalMax, and Xero. Therefore, it can only be connected one-to-one. So 1 account on Dext, 1 account on ApprovalMax, 1 account on Xero or QBO. All right. I think we can wrap it up from here, I guess. We don't have much time left. So what we'll do next, we'll first of all send you the link to the recording afterwards once it gets processed. We'll make sure to follow up on all of the questions that hasn't been answered yet. Sorry about that. There is not much time that we can spend, but everything will be answered later on. Thank you very much for attending this webinar. I hope that was useful. I hope you'll find some additional insights on how to double your efficiency with these tools, and have a lovely rest of the day.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
For joining.
Bye-bye.